anthropologists have long debated whether the customs of a culture invariably function to preserve it. Okay, so we've debated if customs help us preserve, and what is it referring to here, Sabrina?
Customs? Oh, culture. Sorry.
So what are the customs of a culture invariably function to preserve the culture? According to one proposed definition, a culture is the totality of the customs, so the total of the customs practiced by those whose culture it is. If this definition is correct, then the customs of a culture necessarily function to preserve it, even if only in the most trivial sense, because under this conception of a culture, the abandonment of any custom by a culture's member would by definition constitute that culture's destruction. Cool. I feel like this is very, very, very wordy. What did you say was the conclusion, Sabrina?
The conclusion was then the customs of a culture necessarily function to preserve it, even if only in the most trivial sense.
Yes.
This was one of the questions when I texted you and I was like, I was stuck between two. And of course, like I stared at it for like 3 minutes and I picked the wrong one.
Hey, that's why you're taking it in August. Okay, so which one of the following most accurately describes the role played in the argument by the statement that under a certain conception of a culture, the abandonment of any custom by a culture's members would constitute that culture's destruction? All right, so did you make a loose prediction on this, Sabrina, of what?
I guess like the prediction I guess I went in with was like, I mean, I knew it wasn't the conclusion, but it was kind of like,
good job.
It was like, I guess like a premise that was like agreeing with it, but it was also like kind of, I don't know, giving like an example of like, even if it was, if you abandon something, you're going to, it's by this definition would constitute its destruction. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you're on the, yeah. Let me go ahead. Anthropologists have long debated whether the customs of a culture invariably function to debate this. According to one professor, a culture is the totality of the customs practiced by those. I feel like we really, like, I feel like it does point to making sure we use that definition though. Okay, but cool. I think that's a great, like, I know it's a premise, so let's go into this. So A, we can cross off very easily. It is not the main conclusion. It is the definite. I'm like, it's not a definition. Did you cross that one off pretty quickly?
Yeah.
It is a claim that is used to support a conditional conclusion drawn in the argument. I like that so far.
Yeah. I was between C and D.
Okay. You're making me nervous. It is the claim that is used to support the view that a culture should be understood as okay. So does our author for sure say that it should be understood as a totality of customs? What should it be?
I guess because it says according to, it's another definition, but they're saying if this is correct.
If this definition is correct. So it's like,
yeah,
like saying like, hey, if you are right, then this is what needs to be. But what happens if the definition is not correct?
Then our conclusion, or if the definition,
we don't know.
Yeah.
If we don't have our sufficient condition, it just crosses off and we don't know. We have no opinion on the matter. Excellent. And then E, it is a claim ascribed by the argument to at least one anthropologist, but dismissed by the argument as trivial. No, it's our support. So whenever we get down to 2, what should we do? If we get down to 2 like this and we've read them twice, what should we do, Malika?
I go back and read the conclusion.
Yes, realign ourselves with truth. And so did you do that, Sabrina?
No.
I was curious if you, because like you might not have known like just like what does it mean when a conclusion is conditional. But if you're wasting a lot of time debating between answer choices, just go back and read your conclusion and see is there a part that like this, if this definition is correct, that we might have read passively the first time where now we see, oh, I can now differentiate between these 2 answer choices just based off that. And you might save yourself some time.
Yeah. Perfect.